YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Trade with John, or just John. And today we're going to be talking about how I was able to pass the 150k challenge for MyFundedFutures in just one day, right? We're going to go over some of the trade setups, some of the risk management, the psychology, emotions behind the trades, and overall just some tips that I think can help out the next trader and get them funded. All right. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So this is the dashboard for MyFundedFutures. And we can do a quick refresh here just to verify this is all live information. And yeah, so the target profit for this is going to be $9,000. And we passed that threshold by 62 bucks here, as you can see. If we continue down, you can see we took 14 trades on April 12th, and we profited that 9,062. Now let's check out some of the stats here, right? So the best trade was 34.50 in one single trade. My worst trade was $944, right? So automatically I'm having pretty good risk going into this challenge, right? And that's one thing you definitely need to take away when doing these challenges is that you don't want to risk too much of your capital because you're going to have setups that don't work and you need to prepare for that. And you don't know how long it may take in order for a setup not to work for it to then work, you know? And if you just, knock out your account in 2-3 trades, that fourth trade would have probably been the one that you won that would have had you back up on the account. But now you're so far down or you've blown the account already that, you can't or don't want to take that trade. So keep that in mind, right? My average winner was about $1,000, average loss about 430. So I kept things real tight here. Win percentage, 71%. Now that's a great winning percentage, but you really don't need a winning percentage that high, right? You can have a 30% winning rate and be able to come out super profitable, right? Profit factor here is 6.26. So, overall things are really good with this one. So here are some of the trades that I've taken. One thing I want to kind of note is right here, this is when I got the account at first, right? And this is when normally when traders first get their challenge account, you're excited, right? You want to go hop on the charts. You want to go ahead and start smacking trades. You want to get funded like immediately, right? And, sometimes we got to dial it back because it takes time to pass these challenges. They're built for you to become a profitable trader, but you have so many bad habits that you follow that you're not having under control and you're not disciplined that you'll let it take over you and you'll end up not passing, right? So over here, this is a great example of having discipline. I got the account and I immediately started trading, right? But what happened is I took some losses and I just stopped the day right there, right? Now, the old me would have went ahead and said, nah, I got to get that back and just kept going and going and going. And I would have, snowballed. But I went ahead. I won 165, not too crazy. And then the next two I lost. And I just called it a day, right? You have to understand when the market is in a condition that is not beneficial to your strategy, right? Really dial that in, right? Your strategy might not be the thing that sucks, right? What probably sucks is just the current market conditions. You have to wait until conditions meet your strategy, and then your strategy is probably going to work no problem. But you have to understand that. So anyways, we continued throughout the day, 6:20 in the morning. This was a bad trade, to be honest. I'm not sure why I took it. It was more or less not even in my trading schedule as far as like the times that I trade. I trade normally from like 6:30 in the morning, and it might last till 8-9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm usually done by then. And sometimes I'll come in for power hour, which is like 12 p.m. For me, PST, but just depends on where I'm at on the day. But overall, this wasn't a trade I probably should have taken. I could have avoided this loss, but it is what it is. Now we get to my actual session. It's 7 a.m., 7:10 right now is when I execute my first trade, and then my last trade I execute at 9:15, and I'm officially done trading at 9:19, right? So about a 2-hour session, a little bit above that, and I was able to get all this done. So as you can see here, my volume is consistent. That's something very key when you're trading. You want to keep your volume consistent because if you're trading one contract, you get confident, right? Now you start hitting a streak. Now you want to throw in 2, 3 contracts, 4 contracts, and then you hit a big loss. Now you've lost all that profit that you've just made that you were working so hard to gain, right? So you want to keep things constant. As long as you keep your lot size, your contract size constant, you're going to be fine as long as your risk to reward is great, right? At least a 1 to 2. So that's one thing I want to point out as well that worked out very well for me during this challenge, is keeping my volume constant. So as you can see over here, we had some great big winners, right? And the losses were very minimal, to say the least. So we're going to go over to the charts now, and we're going to kind of chat about some of the setups that I saw, how I was able to catch a lot of these shorts, and ultimately just kind of the bias that I had going into the day, right? So here is where we are currently on the charts. I only trade NQ. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the rewind or replay feature. We're going to kind of dial it back to where I was kind of first looking at the charts. This is around midnight, right, when I first got the account. So I like to look at the bigger time frames and just get an idea of like where we are, right? So this candle was brewing up, right, when I first saw it, right? It was like all the way up here. It was very tiny still. But we'll go on the hourly. Next, we'll go back to the 4. Overall, I looked at the market and I said, hey, we're creating lower highs, right? One key thing that I noticed. Second key thing that I noticed, we are in a 4-hour supply on top of hitting this downward trend line. 2 major confluences that are lining up with me. The third major confluence is after we had the supply created, when we dropped, we broke a major level down here and created a lower low. 3 major confluences on the higher time frame. Ultimately, I'm looking for shorts, right? We're also consolidating in this level during London session. So everything pointed to the downside, and I was like, yeah, we're taking it down. And if we're truly on a downtrend, we could potentially come all the way down and break this level. So there was a lot of room to work with, right? And another thing to keep in mind, I'm not thinking to myself, especially as a scalper, let me catch this entire move. That is not what I'm trying to do. I'm saying, hey, we have this entire range that price can potentially go all the way down. Let's capitalize on that range and find opportunities within that range. And that's how I'm taking this approach. So once I knew that, I took some shorts up here that didn't happen to work out. The timing wasn't right with London session yet. But if we fast forward now all the way to when I started taking trades, which is around 7 a.m., right? I trade on the 5 and 1 minute. This is when I really execute my trades and look for my entries. Okay, great. So 1 minute time frame. Let's talk about the first trade, which is right here. So I executed my first trade. I think I said around, so this was 7:10, but 7:22 is when I caught my first big winner. So 7:22 was around right here, right? So let's talk about it. So what I noticed is that we had this low that formed. Price shot up, we broke that low. So new lower low was formed. Now we're looking to form a lower high. Where can that lower high be formed? Now on the 1 minute time frame, I notice automatically we have this gap up here, and then we also had this very small gap right here. And I told myself, all right, normally when I have 2 gaps, I want to get the fresh one. I want to get the one that was just created, which is going to be this one right here. That's how I normally operate. If this doesn't happen to work out, then I may attempt the one right above it. Right? So I'm waiting, and I notice this candle. Great, right? Exhaustion, low volume candle, right? We closed inside the range of that imbalance still. Like everything looked peachy clean. So I'm thinking of an entry here. And I think somewhere around this time here, caught my entry, right? 7:22, I think was the time, right? Yeah, 7:22, almost at 7:23. So after all these rejections to the upside, and I got 2 rejections going down, I went ahead and executed my trade. I forget exactly where I executed. I think it was right here around 18,301, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 18,301.75. So pretty much right around there is where I entered my trade for the shorts. We were gotten to draw down a little bit, about 30 or so ticks, stop losses above these highs, and then, play it out here, and it worked out beautifully for us. Now I'm like, okay, great. I exited the trade, and now I'm looking for the next opportunity. I'm looking for shorts again still. So I see we bounce on this same level right here. We're at this support where we could potentially go up, right? So the second trade I entered was at 7:30 for a short. And this was my biggest trade yet. So 7:30 was this candle right here. So what I'm seeing is at this time we're dropping, and we have another lower low, right? In my head, I'm thinking if we go beyond this candle, boom, it's automatically, we're going to sell because price is dropping. But I got a little too excited and I just sold, right? I didn't wait for really the break to happen. I just sold. So I sold, and, I think I sold over at 18,272.75. right? I'm kind of going based off of memory here because there's a lot of trades that we took. But as you can see right here, once we got to this low, I took that entry. I didn't really wait for the official break. I just kind of took it. I got really excited, but kind of keeping emotions in check. So we're going to continue. And that worked out really well for us. Right? Now, during this entire move, I'm going ahead and I'm looking at the 5-minute time frame, right? And you notice over here, we have a lot of resistance. A lot of resistance. We broke it, retested it, came back up, retested it a second time to hit this level, and we shot all the way back up. So I know this is a major level. So now I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, we've been dropping. We haven't yet had a pullback into this area yet. We could potentially get away with a buy. So that's what I do, right? That's where these trades come in, these longs, right? Around 810, 207. And 810 was around here. 207, my entry was about here on this level, right? And another reason why I took this trade, right, wasn't because we were just at this level. It was because look at what we're forming, right? An inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And on top of that, we have these equal highs over here, or this resistance generally, or liquidity, whatever you want to call it, that is a target for price to break. So, without even thinking about it, I saw this candle form and I was like, we're in there. This is a beautiful candle. And that worked out very well for us. Now, as price continued to go up, I'm thinking, hey, we could potentially get to this level. So I try another buy once we break the high of this candle over here. And that happened to work out very well as well. Now, if we continue, I believe I took some shorts over here, and this would ultimately got me passing the challenge. So we wait. Price creates this M formation, right? Because I'm just waiting at this point. What's going to happen at this retest area? Are we going to break it? Because if we do, then hey, we might be heading back to the upside. But if we don't break it, then we can look for our shorts again. So what happens? We come up, I wait, we pull back down. I'm still waiting, pull back up. We get this M formation, we pull back down. Automatically now I'm definitely looking for shorts, nothing else. And I just have to wait for the right opportunity. And over here is where I took that opportunity. And it was solely based on this candle right here, right? So I noticed that we created this small resistance on this side. We created a lower low. And now as price is pulling back, I'm like, okay, we're coming back up. What's going to happen at this level? We get to this level, major wick, we pull back, bullish, and then we had this huge, bearish candle come in that engulfed this entire candle. To me, I'm like, all right, I'm getting in, but not yet. I have to wait for that pullback. And if we get a pullback into this level, then I'm looking for an entry. Pull back into this level, didn't take any trade still, right? Because I like to trade off the gaps. I didn't see any, obvious gap, obviously. But once I saw the way this candle closed so weak like that, I was like, yeah, we're about to drop. So executed my sells once this second candle formed, which is this one here. And that was it. We were off to the races, aiming for the same level down here that we took our buys from. And so price dropped all the way down. We were able to get another entry in. Once I saw this candle form over here next to this candle, I was like, it's it. It's over. We have both of these hammers. Well, inverted hammer, I think. I forget the exact term. But, I know when I see these, I'm like, we're going to head back down. So entered another position here. Price fell, and we were able to exit. So what I want to kind of get out of all of this is the fact that all of this was based on a higher time frame bias. And as I mentioned, I'm not looking to catch the entire move down, but what I am looking for are opportunities within that time frame, to capitalize on that move down. And that's what I've pretty much done, right? I go on the hourly, I mark these levels down here, and these are my major levels that I'm looking for price to react into, which every time we get into these levels, we have some type of reaction, right? Over here, some type of reaction. And then going into next week, let's see, there we go, boom, all right, some type of reaction, right? And let's see where the market ends off around here, right? So now we're going to see what happens when the market picks back up this week, right? We could potentially go all the way down. If we break this level, we're breaking daily market structure and we're going bearish, right? But as long as we respect this level, we're on the up and up, right? So we had this downward trend. We're building liquidity now. We got all these taps, probably have some major stop losses above these levels, right? So my assumption is we're probably going to end up going bullish next week or this week coming up now. But what's going to happen is we might fake out for the first day or two, maybe even 3 days of the week, continuing this downside pressure until we ultimately blast to the upside. Whether we're going to retap this bearish low for the, the daily, or most likely, I think we're going to tap into this level, right? Look at the major demand that we have at this level. This is a huge level, 18,062. So we can easily see price get into here and then blast to the upside, breaking this trend line, and then ultimately creating a daily higher high, right? But that's all speculation, you guys. We're going to see what we get into. Either way, I'm very adaptable when it comes to the markets, and so should you. You shouldn't marry the bias of something. You should be very adaptable to what the market presents. But ultimately, you guys, I just wanted to chat with you and explain to you how I was able to pass this challenge. It was super fun. I just have to pay my activation fee now, and we're good to go. And I'll be live streaming on here on YouTube. So if you guys want, you can check that out. It's going to be New York session. I'll be on around 6:30 in the morning, PST time. And yeah, that's it. If you guys want to get a challenge from My Funded Futures, I will have a link down in the description. You guys can definitely go ahead and check that out. They're a great prop firm, especially from what I've been hearing. They do great payouts every 14 days. And they have an amazing deal going on right now where every single type of challenge, 50K, 100K, 150K, they're all $50. So I highly suggest that you guys check them out. And yeah, if you guys appreciate this video, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you want to see more content like this, or if you have any ideas, drop those in the comments and I'll get back to you guys with some more content. Anyways, hope you guys have a great one. Happy trading, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.